Okay, so making a video blog is a lot harder than you think. This is like my third attempt just tonight. Tonight you are coming from the guest room at the country house, hence like those curtains. If you saw my house, you know I would not have these curtains in my house. So, um, the country house is really nice because I really get to like think and all of that. Well, anyways, okay, so here it is. Number one, I'm sorry I don't have a haircut. Like, really sorry that I don't have a haircut. It's actually why I didn't go to any of the after parties for the Academy Awards last night in LA, because I could not show my face in Hollywood without a haircut. But apparently, I can show my face and hair to all of you ballet dancers. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so a lot of you are writing in and commenting on my blog that it's horrible and awful and all of this fun stuff. And instead of like writing this really mean long rebuttal, like I really don't care. No, I do care because I do want to make this a career, so don't get me wrong. But I there okay. If you are a professional ballet dancer reading my blog, so a lot of this stuff will make sense. And with that being said, there's a lot of politics within ballet that have been going on. If, well, I mean, it always has gone on. But I think in this day and age, in the age of transparency, we we have the right to no. It should be talked about. I mean, with everything that's happening in ballet right now about racism, sexism, uh, life planning, and financial difficulties, I think it's really important to have these conversations. And I do believe that a lot, ooh, not I do believe, I do know from a lot of other ballet dancers that they are not in a position to say something or to criticize or to publicly go on the record and put it out there due to contract or their jobs. Their job is on the line, or damaging a company's reputation from the inside, and so forth. So, I, on the other hand, have an opportunity to kind of bring up these conversations and discourse about what is going on in the ballet world. So, ballet politics. If I'm really cool and can edit this video well, it will say ballet politics right here. I hope. I was making dinner tonight and I made a really good dinner. If I can edit a video okay, my dinner should be somewhere up here. And I was making dinner and I was eating and sketching on the iPad Pro. Um, thank you, Apple. Um, of principal ballet dancer Leah Serio, principal dancer at Boston Ballet. And I was going through my ballet education emails and I basically realized that her name, along with some other principals, were left off the list, which basically caused me to do a lot of side eye. Like a lot of side eye. Um, okay, so let's break it down really fast. Boston Ballet opened up Onegin this weekend. It opened on Thursday, and they are about to do 11 performances. Well, they've completed quite a few already. They're already halfway through, but they're doing 11 performances. And if you look at Onegin as a whole, there are two main roles for women, which would be Olga and Tatiana. With 11 performances, that is 22 spots for females to dance. Boston Ballet currently has 7 principal women. So if you did the math and if ballet companies were created equal and artistic directors fairly cast, or not fairly, but distributed roles evenly, and I get it, not all dancers are meant to do every role, like typecasting, or it's just not your forte, like, like fortes might not be your forte. I mean, there's a lot of principal women who just, fortes aren't their thing. Like, and there are some who are. Not everyone is going to dance key tree. Not the point, though. Going back to Onegin and the casting at Boston Ballet. So there are 22 principal women spots performing roles, and there are 7 principal women at Boston Ballet. Of the casting, I want to say, hold on a second while I pull up my casting email because I don't want to give you a wrong fact. So basically, the main female principals that were cast are Misa Karnaga, Erica Cornejo, Petra Conti, and Ashley Ellis. Okay, super great. Anyways, you can see that Kathleen Breen Combs was left off the list, and I don't know if she's out for injury or not. I'm not sure. But Leah Serio is left off the list. Dusty Button was off the list, and if you saw Dusty Button's Pimpin' My Butterfly video on Instagram, you would know she is a beast. Period. Okay, so basically the casting was skewed, and a lot of soloists did get a chance to, quote-unquote, have a chance at the roles. Seo Hai Han is cast quite a bit, which I'm not complaining because, high five to Korean ballet dancers. And she's also a super powerhouse. I believe in 2010, she won the IBC. And then in 2011, I think she followed up at Varna, and I think she got first, or she could have got second. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure she got first. The only reason why I know it so specifically is because every time a Korean person wins at an international ballet competition, it warms my heart a little. But I'm not biased because there have been quite a few Korean dancers at ballet competitions, and I was like, well, you should not be there. Now, in general, let's just be realistic. No matter what your race is, there's a lot of people who should not be at ballet competitions. Period. Which brings me that I really want to go to the YAGP again next month or in 2 months, and I would really like to make it happen. And I know you parents are probably like, do not let David King critique my child because he might say something horrible and awful, or he might just be mean or biased. But unfortunately, I am, so whatever. Moving on. So in addition, there was Diana Albrecht was cast as Olga in a matinee show. Jillian Burrell, and again, I am not criticizing like any of these dancers because I do think that they're all super fierce. If you got a job at Boston Ballet, you are talented. I'm not doubting your talent. Jillian is in the core. High five to you. I'm just saying that if you look at the bigger picture of Boston Ballet, and if you were to really look at the numbers, every principal woman could have performed a principal role in Onegin at least once, with plus to spare, and giving the core dancers roles. Again, I get that that's how ballet careers are made. Is a young core dancer gets the chance to prove themselves. But with Boston Ballet doing so many performances, you would think that the casting would be changed up slightly. Um, and I know that in the world of like technical ballet and talking about typecasting, Onegin is not necessarily like known for being like technical powerhouses. So if you say like, if I were to like categorize the Boston Ballet women, Dusty Button is like super technical powerhouse. Like, she's a key tree. She's a Corsair girl. Mm, she's like any ballet that requires a crap ton of turns and jumps. Right? Like, ish. If we're going off of the typecasting. And then if you were to talk, say, about like Leah Serio, truthfully, if you can do Nakia in Biodair, you would think that you could translate and grow into Onegin. Period. So I'll just leave it as that. Mm. Ashley Ellis, super bomb. Love her a lot. SoCal girl. South Bay girl. Super talented. So, but you would assume that she would be cast in that. In Onegin. But it raises the question a lot though, because lately I have felt that there's a lot going on at Boston Ballet. I mean, they're losing principal dancers. Sarah Lamb, left for Royal. James Whiteside left for American Ballet Theater. Jeffrey Serio left for American Ballet Theater. And now Whitney Jensen is at Norwegian National Ballet. So, what does this mean? I'm sorry, I'm like flicking this around. I'm kind of nervous. So, what does this mean? I said in a prior post that there is a bunch going on at Boston Ballet, and I had a whole lot of speculations. And that is all very true. It's that way for any ballet company. There's a lot of dancers who leave the company or dancers don't get their contracts renewed. And it's that time of year where contracts are being signed. So, or renewed. So you start to question whether or not Boston Ballet is either losing their dancers to what? Like, is Boston Ballet not being able to give the repertory and performing needs that a dancer needs? Because this is a legitimate argument, okay? So for all of you young dancers out there who are training or haven't gotten a contract yet, the repertory that the company performs and the repertory that you are given will either kill your soul and make you quit ballet, or you will dance the rest of your life a happy camper. And it's not about joining a huge company or a small company or a whatever company. I don't care what ballet company it is, whether you are Bolshoi Ballet performing literally every night or you are Sacramento Ballet that only does 4 programs in a season. Don't care. Or maybe they do 5, I don't know. I was just picking a small regional company. So, with that being said, a company's repertory makes or breaks a dancer. When in the world, when you start auditioning and you find company contracts, you question whether or not the repertory is going to suit you and what your career trajectory is going to be. So for some dancers, everyone's talking about her right now, like Giselle Bethia. She's fast-tracked to become a principal dancer, period. Like, period. So for her joining a large company, no matter where she is going to be fast-tracked up the list. And she could break under pressure, she could get injured, there's a million things. When I was younger, my obsession was New York City Ballet. I mean, it still is New York City Ballet. But I remember and I don't know, a lot of you dancers might remember this. Like when you got into SAB, you got like the Welcome to SAB DVD, and then like you got like a random like point shoe bag from like Freed or something. I don't know. But it highlighted, I believe it was Tyler Peck for sure, and Caitlin Gilliland, and a boy. I don't know, was it Ralph? Isaac? I don't know. A boy. But basically, these three were fast tracked at New York City Ballet. Tyler, obviously, fast tracked super fast to stardom. Caitlin Gilliland, unfortunately, had a series of injuries, but I believe she's at Martha Graham. Twyla Tharp. I know she's super smart and went to college. I don't know. I danced for her mom at Minnesota Dance Theater. I do know that. Um, and then obviously the boy who was in the Serenade video. I don't even remember his name, and I'm not trying to be like he's forgettable. I literally just don't remember. So, in the skew of things, if a dancer isn't cast in a program, during performance week for the company, if it's even a major company like Boston Ballet, the rehearsal schedule for the following program will be light. So, as a dancer who is not cast in Onegin, even if you were an understudy, these 2 weeks suck for you. I mean, it might be a great break for you and you get to do like other things and have more time off. But the reality is, as a dancer, you want to dance. Like, you wouldn't not want to dance, especially in Cranko Onegins. I mean, I think it's one of the most coveted ballets that a dancer wants to dance. Yeah, pretty sure. Nope. Like, if I were to die tomorrow and I got one less ballet performance, I made like a list of pas and like a 2 hour, 3 hour performance that I'd want to watch. And Onegin pas totally Madison Kiesler and Stephen Morse. That'd be my casting. But definitely Madison Kiesler. Yeah, definitely her. Her as Tatiana in my head. Boom. Okay, so going back to casting at Boston Ballet. So if Boston Ballet's repertory is failing, and oh, by the way, this is how I think. So this is why sometimes my blogs seem a little scatterbrained as I'm dictating to Siri in the car. Because this is how my brain works. Sorry. So backtracking back to Boston Ballet. So either Boston Ballet's repertory is failing their dancers, or the casting at Boston Ballet is causing dancers to leave. Ballet politics, this is like super like common, especially for I think girls in the corps who don't get a chance to prove themselves after like 10 years. You know, they're done. They hang up their point shoes, go to college, get married, have babies. But Boston Ballet is slightly different because the repertory is extremely large and versatile. And as we all know, I love the women at Boston Ballet, period. So what is going on in ballet politics and what is going on specifically at Boston Ballet? Don't know. And I probably will never know because I doubt that Miko is going to sit down and write me an email about his casting choices, period. Like, I mean, or, you know, whatever. So, we have to ask ourselves as dancers and the dance community and people who support the dance community, is it fair that during a performance or a huge run like Onegin, that principal women are being unseen? I mean, this happens every time that comes around. Specifically, with something so specific like Onegin or, say, Swan Lake, not every principal woman will get the chance to dance that role. Not every principal woman is suited for that role. But you would think that because they're principal women and they're the face of the company, that they would at least have a matinee showing, and the matinee showings wouldn't necessarily go to corps de ballet members, or they would be given solo roles like demi solo. Not that there are demi solo roles in Onegin, but you would think that the casting might be varied. It's really hard. It makes me have a lot of questions, but that is a fact of ballet. I just realized I've been talking to myself for 20 minutes, and you guys are probably over this. So, what are your thoughts about the casting issues in ballet? Comment below, comment on my blog. A lot of you have been writing emails to be quote unquote more secretive and not have profiles, which is totally cool, and I respect that. I would never let one of my emails that you send in, I would not publish it without your permission. I will say that. And all of you pro dancers who have written in with quote unquote hashtag ballet politics, I will not publish them or use your name or company you're affiliated at or school you went to. But if you do have something to say and you want me to enlighten and touch on it, totally write in. If I edit really well, my email address will be right there. And I hope this is successful, or I just spent the past like hour and a half talking to myself. Okay, have a good night.